Back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics Podcast. And today we are once again having a fucking face cam. For whatever reason, all of a sudden it works. I have not restarted my computer or whatever. It just works for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know how it works. But it is just the case and it is quite fine and it is amazing. But yeah, what are we gonna do today? I actually do not really know. It's probably gonna be something Reddit related. I find very often to find interesting stuff on Reddit that sparks a lot of interesting conversations and also a lot of interesting thoughts. But yeah, there we go. Where is it? Is it this? It's a tiny fucking bit too big. And this is fine. Do you ever wish that you never existed? 23 male. It's a bit too tiny here, so I might as well do this. And this is just a vent. Feel free to block, ban, abuse, or whatever the heck you want. I really don't care at this point. I really don't care at this point. I am not here for advice. I have been suppressing my feelings for too long. I have completely blocked myself from outside world. I have stopped posting anything on social media and anywhere else that could make people realize how I am. Neither do I talk to people about my personal life. I really don't want any attention. This is what I say to myself. Although, to be honest, sometimes I feel I could use a hug or a little bit of attention. I am not attractive, so no attention from girls. I also feel difficult in initiating conversations. This is particularly due to the way of parenting. As a child, I was not allowed to go outside much. For whatever reason, I really wonder why, to be honest. I mean, this, quote-unquote, is obviously, quote-unquote, so quote, obviously, unquote. Anyway, you know what I mean. But yeah. Blah 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 blah. Outside much. This really paralyzed my ability to be an extrovert. Talking to me is really boring because I have lost my ability to share my problems. People really feel bored talking to me, and to be honest, no one really cares about my problems, so I keep mum about myself, and in conversations, I mostly take the conversation about the other person and let them talk and rarely talk about myself. Sometimes I wish I never existed. I don't wish to die, but I just don't want to exist anymore. If there is an afterlife, I don't want that. I really have nothing to offer to this world, just looking for a magic eraser that could erase me forever. Sometimes I really get angry at existing. I didn't choose to be born, but yet I am here. Let's actually first of all see what people are saying. I wish I had never existed, and more than that, I wish I had killed myself before I met my wife and had my son. I actually got an S tier happily ever after, but I'm personally so broken that I spend every hour of my life in mental and physical pain. It is too late now. I am on the hook with them. They need me now. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Have you tried meds or therapy though? Please have hope. I believe it is possible to feel better. Yeah, it isn't a depression thing. It's just that I literally tipped the scales for pain. There is no way to fix the pain that doesn't leave me incapacitated. It's just not worth living mathematically. But my family needs me now, so I want to stick around. It's just that they want. It is not logical. I'm sorry to hear that. Dude, after reading, do you know me? Shit, man, I have the bad feelings. This is how my father feels. He seems to lose every interest in living and is only around for us. This advice will serve you indefinitely. If you would like to have a nice conversation and talk to people, the first rule is simple. You have already clearly understand it. People talk about themselves. The number one thing people talk about is about themselves. Not war, not poverty, not anything else. So the thing is, talking about them and listening is most often a way better idea than just starting to talk about oneself. As strange as it may sound, but it's really the case. We like talking about ourselves, and people always feel quite amazing if you try to also talk about themselves, being interested, being genuinely interested, not being like, quite not knowing that it works and that this is how you initiate a conversation, but really genuinely trying to know them and get to know them. But also be vulnerable about your own things you have going on that can change the game. True, go get anyone's attention, ask them, sorry to hear that life's the greatest gift of all, remember that. I don't tell this to a lot of people, but I try to communicate, but commit suicide at age 19. Next week I will turn 66 and I contemplate what I would have missed, also what those around me would have missed. You have a lot to look forward to. When I was young, people used to tell me, you have your whole life ahead of you. It wasn't until I was much older that I realized what a precious thing it is to have time on your side. And it is really quite the case. Something to think about and something to keep in mind, that when you're young, you may not have the money, you may not have the opportunities, you may not have respect on your side, you may not have this, quite a lot of things that elderly people and older people just have in the society or a society. But you're having a lot of fucking time left, and it is insane what you can do in a day, and it is insane what you can do in a week. Sometimes it's a bit underestimated what you can do in a week or in a month, like relatively narrow time spans, relatively, small time spans. And sometimes it is just, things one can do such a lot in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, in whatever it might be. So it's so it's important to notice, and it's important to remember that first of all, on one hand, time is precious and time should not be taken for granted. Also because, when you're just very ill, when you're having cancer, you probably have quite some time left. Maybe not all the time left, depends on the illness, depends on the cancer. You may not have that much time left, but what is the quality of this time? And when you're not having any issues, when you're as healthy as you can be, or as one can be, then, do not forget that you should not be taken that for granted, or it shouldn't be taken for granted, because it shouldn't be, because it isn't. It's not a for sure thing. Of course, this is easily said. Of course, it is like, obviously, but there is always going to be a tomorrow. There's always, when I'm depressed today and thinking about the time that I'm having left, it gives me a lot of opportunities, and it might also be giving me a lot of strength, because I know that that there is a lot of opportunities that I could be taken, or that I could take in the next year. A year is a bit of time, but I have a lot of years in front of me, and a lot of opportunities in front of me, and a lot of lifetime in front of me. And this, as I'm thinking and speaking about it, actually gives me a lot of joy. That I'm still, as being 21 at this point, I have a lot of time left. And 23, it's quite the exact same thing. It's not about those fucking 2 years. You can do a lot in those 2 years. But you can also do a lot in the 60, 70 years that you're still having left. So it is very easy to see the negative. It is very easy to see the things that I'm not having, or that one is not having. And it is also very easy to see those things that may not be running smoothly. They may not be as good as you would like them to have. But there are also a lot of things that are pretty good and quite great in your life. And also those things that might bring you joy. Some realizations as well. I'm having a lot of time left, and having a lot of time left means that I'm having a lot of time left for potentially getting better. Getting worse sometimes, maybe the case, but seldomly. When you're just so low, well, would you even care about it? Just even getting worse. But you can figure something out. You have a lot of time to figure something out. Because life does not necessarily have to be that complex. Just need a bit of money. And we all probably can work some job that provides some kind of enough money. If this job is great or not, it's another conversation, it's another question. But theoretically, I guess we all can build something. Theoretically, of course. But yeah, with that being said, I guess that I might end the episode here. So I wish you the best and hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye.